Welcome to Criminal Justice 370, Substance Abuse and Criminal Justice. My name is Steve Krokov, and I will be your instructor for the semester. Clearly, you have found your way to the course and obviously the Start Here section. And what I'd like to do is I'd just like to give you a brief overview of how to navigate through the course and give you some tips, pointers, things like that along the line, so you'll feel comfortable as we move forward. So where I'd like you to start is pretty clear. Start here, and we'll do it together. Apparently, you already got here because you're already watching this video. So here's information about the course. I assume you all read it already. And you've already hit the view the introduction video because you're viewing that now. So what I'd like to now click on is just a plan of attack. This is something that I've put together for students in the past that may or may not have experience in online classes. And one of the big differences between online classes and traditional classes and face-to-face is that it takes an awful lot more time budgeting. I'll let you take a look at this on your own, but this is this seems to have worked for students in the past, and this might be a good model if it meets your needs. But again, only a recommendation. Feel free to look at it or disregard it. Just a tool for you to use. I'm going to go back to the course. The next click down is how to post in a discussion board video, and it's a brief 5-minute video. For those of you who may have never been in an online course before or who haven't used Moodle before, it just shows you how to use the discussion boards. It's a very quick video, and again, if there's any confusion whatsoever regarding how to move around in the discussion boards, please take a few minutes to watch that video. The next thing I would like you to open up is to review the discussion board tips. Now, a discussion board is a big part of what we do here in an online class. I mean, as you know, we obviously have no classroom experience, so we have to replicate that in this online environment. And one of the major ways we do that is through these discussion boards. So it's imperative that you take the time to do these discussion boards, get involved with them, and really get involved and submit meaningful input and questions. And your grade, it's certainly much of your grade depends on it. 40% of your grade is the discussion board. We'll go over that shortly. So a couple of quick things I just want you to understand. I talk about peer moderators every week this semester, except for the first one. I will choose peer moderators for the discussion boards. What I expect from the peer moderators is to get in there and really try to call out more information from those that are posting, ask questions, make points, keep the conversation going. And here are some good examples of how I would hope you would keep the conversation going. Below that is an example of a quality discussion. This would be similar to what I would put in, and you'd get the student 1 response, the student 2 response, and then something from the moderator. Obviously, we'll have all kinds of we'll have different numbers of students and different types of discussions, but this is just a general idea of what it is I'm looking for in these discussion boards. Just understand that a simple yes, I agree with you, or no, I don't agree with you is not an appropriate response on the discussion board. So one other thing in here, we have how to never miss a due date. Now, this is entirely up to you if you want to get involved with something like this. I use an application called Remind. I've used it every semester. Those of you who have been in my previous classes know that I use it. But this is a great way for you to never miss a due date. I enter all the due dates for all my assignments in Remind, and what it does is it will automatically either send it through a text, or if you have a smartphone, you just click on that and you can get it right through your smartphone. This is actually for this class. This is the information for this class. I recommend highly that you take advantage of this. I know what it's like to try to manage your class load, your family commitments, possibly a full-time job. This is just something that may help you as you move along through the class. Going back, the only other thing on this page that I want you to notice is the student lounge. I'm going to ask that you click on the student lounge and introduce yourself. It's important that we develop some type of rapport very quickly because the class gets moving very quickly, and we need to kind of get to know one another in order to have really meaningful discussions. So the directions are pretty self-explanatory. Put your name in the subject box. Talk about what your major or concentration of study is, what you hope to get out of the course, maybe what some of your hobbies and personal interests are. I put this as optional. If you want to add what type of work you're in now and what career path you'd like to take, feel free. If for some reason you don't want to include that, don't. But it's always nice to have that understanding about what kind of career paths people are on. And then I ask that you please review all the other profiles that are in there, but reply to at least 5. It really gets the conversation going, kind of sets the stage for a productive semester. So now I'm going to move over to the instructor information. Pretty clear. This is my email address. I am very responsive to email. So if you ever have any questions, concerns, please never hesitate to reach out. This is my cell number. I have it on me at all times. I obviously, if you call me and I'm not tied up with something, I will take the call, but I prefer that we do it via email. In an emergency, of course, feel free to text me or call me at that number. That is my cell phone. So let's get into the syllabus. So this is the basic information that you see at top of every syllabus. Here's what the class is about, the student learning outcomes we're looking for, course objectives. But let's get into some of the other, and please I'm going through this quickly because I don't want to waste too much of your time going over it, but I would expect that you would go through this and spend some time with this. So let's talk about the measurement criteria. I have 2 rubrics that I use. The rubrics for the online discussion boards and the rubrics for the module exams and the case studies. So here's the rubric for the online, for the discussion boards, and these are very, very important. Again, it's worth 40% of your grade, and I would like you to spend some time with this. So this, as I said, is the rubric. This is all the different information. Here's the protocols for posting, and I'm gonna just bring a couple of things to your attention. You're expected to participate in each of the boards on at least 3 different days. That's a post on one day, a response to one other of your fellow students' posts on another day, and a response to another one of your fellow students' posts on another day. That does not include your responses to questions and comments that result from your post. So it's very likely that you should be on your discussion board upwards 5, 6, 7 times a week. It only takes a few minutes, and I would expect that you would just stay involved in the conversation. Everything else, you can follow through. I'm hoping for, like, if you look at this, about 1 to 300 word range in your posts. There's no reason anything less than that. If anything less than 100 is most likely not going to address the question. Anything more than 300 is probably over-addressing it for the needs of this course. You won't be penalized for more than 300, but I'm certainly not expecting more than 300. As we scroll through this, here's the rubric. So this is scored on a 10-point scale, 10 being the most, 0 being the least. So for a 9 to 10 posting, I'm looking for a 9 to 10 score. I'm looking for someone that participated at least 3 times, minimum of 5 or 5+ posts. And when I say post, that means your initial post and responses to others. Again, it's at least 2 responses to other classmates' posts, and I expect that you would also be answering questions and comments to your initial thread. Here's all the information. I want to make sure that you understand it's got to be timely, it's got to be thoughtful, it's got to be analytical, all those kinds of important things to be able to develop in a meaningful conversation. And as you can see, as you scroll down the point scale, you see there's less and less participation and less thought and analysis put into it. I expect that most will be in the 9 to 10 range, and if anybody is not, I will be reaching out to let you know where you're falling short. So going back, next we have the rubric for the module exams and the case studies. So the module exams, as I said, they're short essays. The case studies, there are mini cases and an actual case study at the end. The mini cases are simple, small short essay responses. The one at the end of the semester is going to be a little bit more involved, but nothing crazy. But these are opportunities, these case studies, for you to be able to apply your knowledge to real criminal justice cases. And here's the basic rubric. 80% of its content. 20% is writing, so you have to, at this point in your college career, you should be able to express yourself in a meaningful and organized manner. So that is part of what I'm looking at, but of course the content plays the major role in the grade. Continuing down, it talks more about the discussion board. Please read through that. The quizzes, as I said earlier, they're basic quizzes. They're multiple choice and true false. They range from anywhere from 30 questions. I think one of them might have as many as 50 or so, but that's just because it covers two of the two chapters in the text. But they are quite simple, and as I said, you get 2 chances at it. So if you don't do well on the first one, please, you'll have a chance to check up on the questions you got wrong, get them right, and do well on that. The module exams, there are 3 module exams in the class. Just they are non-cumulative and they are short essay. They shouldn't be very difficult. We talked about the case studies. You'll be able to apply some of the concepts that you're learning to real criminal justice cases. Here's the grading breakdown: 40% discussion board, 25% module exams, 20% quizzes, 15% case studies for a total of 100. Here is the planned schedule for this semester. It's subject to change, though I don't anticipate any changes. I'm giving you off the full week of Thanksgiving. I know that Thanksgiving, I think, ends on a Wednesday, I believe, for Delhi, but we'll take I think we could all use a week break there. So if there are any questions about the syllabus, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'll go through anything you need to. Then the course resources and policies. This is all the general boilerplate stuff that comes through from Delhi. The only thing I do want to draw your attention to, I mean, read the whole thing, but one thing I do want to draw your attention to is the attendance policy. This is an online course, and you need to make sure you stay involved. Any more than 3 unexcused absences, which means you didn't get involved in the discussion for 3 weeks in a row, or not 3 weeks in a row, 3 weeks throughout the course. It starts to result in you in negatively impacting your grade to the point where it probably wouldn't be worth it for you to continue on with the class. But if we hit that with anybody, we'll talk about it more. So now that we have been through the introduction, let me just give you an idea of how to navigate the course. So I'm back to the course homepage. We saw these start here. The news and announcements, I use this very extensively. I put all of the announcements that I do to the class as a whole in the news and announcements. What this does is it will pop up on Banco every time you log in. It will also forward to your Delhi email. So please keep an eye out for those. I don't send things out for no reason. If you see something from me, I recommend you read it. Here's the student lounge. That's where you'll be posting your introductions. I will not be getting into the student lounge except for the initial time when we are making our introductions. Beyond there, feel free to use that to work amongst yourselves. Another thing you'll notice along the right-hand side are these check boxes. What these check boxes do is it allows the students to see if they've met the minimum requirements for that block. So some of these, if you merely view it, it will get checked off because that's what I've preset as a completion. But on others, like the discussion boards, you will have to have done X number of posts to be able to get that check off. So this just generally guides the students to understand whether or not they have truly done everything they needed to do for that section. If you don't see a check in the box, something is missing. If you have any problems with that or there's any confusion, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. So let's get into week 1, considering that's what we're starting. So the first thing you'll do in every week, and these all look exactly the same, but the first thing you'll do in week 1 is you'll hit the week 1 learning guide. So you'll click on that, and this tells you everything what you need to do for the week. It gives you the learning objectives, tells you where you are, and then it gives you your task checklist for the week. So you'll read chapter 1 in the textbook. You'll open the week 1 lesson, which, in fact, I'll click on that, and you can take a look at that now. You can get there through here, or you can get there, I'll show you the other way, but here is chapter 1, and you go through the slides. This is not a substitute for reading the chapter. This only picks up on the key points, and it's a very high overview of what it is, the material for the class. It will not suffice for the questions you need to answer later. So getting back into the learning guide, you get in the week 1 lesson, you review and understand the lecture, review and understand the key terms, you watch the videos, and then it gives you directions on what to do with this week's discussion board, and you take the quiz. So if you take advantage of the learning guide and go back and check it each week, you'll know for sure that you haven't missed anything. going back to the actual class, let's get to the lesson. And we've already seen a piece of the lesson by clicking in through the learning guide. So here is the lecture again. You'll see the PowerPoint is just a little slow in opening up, but it is going to open up in the lecture. There it is. These are the key terms. You're going to want to have a general understanding of what these key terms mean. These are the terms that I'm going to be looking for to be used in the online discussions. The more key terms and the appropriate use of the key terms, the better the grade. And then you'll click on the video, and then you just click in here, and I want you to take a look. These are hand-picked videos. These are not just busy work. They really round out the material for the class, and much of the work that you're involved with the discussion boards and the quizzes, they're all intertwined. The videos are as much part of the course as the text is, so please take your time with that. Go back to this week. So back in this week, now you've seen the entire lesson. Next, you'll click on the discussion board. So this week, you'll only see one of these. I see the only reason you're seeing all three is because it's open up under the instructor. So you'll click on the discussion board, and you'll see the first week. This is the first week's discussion board. It's a family gathering discussion. You'll click on that, and you'll see. And here's what the subject of this week's discussion is. So as we talked about in the discussion board video, you'll click on reply. You'll respond to my post, and it will go on from there. Let me go back to week 1. So once you're done with the discussion, the only thing you have left for this week, and don't forget in the discussion board, before I move on, you do your post, you respond to a minimum of 2 of your other classmates' initial posts. That does not include the responses you need to make to your 2 fellow students who are responding to your post or asking you questions. I expect to see a lot of involvement in those discussion boards. And then the week 1 quiz. You'll click on that, and you'll right here, it won't say preview quiz, it'll say take the quiz as long as it's open, and you take the quiz, and you're done for the week. And this is basically how this class is structured. The only differences you'll see throughout this is when you hit the module exams. So week 5, we'll have a module 1 exam and a mini case study. We'll get more into that as the semester goes. Same thing with week 8, module 2 exam, case study. They're mini cases. They are not a huge undertaking. And as I said, the module exams are just 2 brief essays. And then you'll do that again in week 15. You'll have your module 3 exam, non-cumulative, and your mini case. And then you have your final case study. And don't get scared by that. It is just a larger case built off of the mini cases. And that is it. That is the class in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, please, you know how to get a hold of me. My contact information is up here on the right if you ever need me. It's also right here on the instructor information. Please never hesitate to reach out. I know this is going to be a very interesting class. There's a lot of very compelling material in here, and the information and the conversations that go on here will never bore you. I assure you of that. So I look forward to a great semester. Thanks so much, and please, anything you need, do not hesitate to reach out.